Lee and Michelle, Resistance Chicks, we're coming at you. It is Thursday, April 13th, 2017. We have a lot that we want to get through, and I'm so sorry we're bringing you all this stuff, but guess what? This is the news. This is what's happening. This is what Resistance Chicks is going to bring you. We try to put funny videos in there, here and there, but this is real deal. This is happening. This is where we are at in the world as a whole right now. It has to be brought to you guys, so we're going to bring it.
White helmets. We are going to delve into these white helmets. They are supposedly neutral forces that our guys are working with and that our money is funding. And I'm going to show you that these so-called white helmets are actually working with Al-Nusra, Al-Qaeda, and ISIS. And this is why everyone is saying that we funded ISIS in Syria, because we did. Okay? All right. I'm going to just start with the Zero Hedge article, and then we're going to show through, hopefully, enough videos to kind of give you a good foundation.
And we'll just try to go over the highlights because we got to get through this fast.
The Syrian White Helmets, or Syrian Civil Defense Force, are lauded by mainstream news sources for their humanitarian work during the we can't do anything fast, we just try. Syrian Civil War. But research by Disobedient Media reveals that the White Helmets are an organization supported by the United States for the purpose of regime change in Syria. Bottom line. That's the only reason they're supported by us, for regime change in Syria that was set up by the globalists, by Hillary Clinton, by Trump, and they put out bait, right? And so there are some Trump supporters, I'd say 25% of them have taken the bait. 75% of them looked at the bait, realized it's a pile of poo, and say, I'm not eating this, and now you're vocal out against it, and I think you should continue to do so. They say, we have directly tied this group to varying levels of involvement with war crimes committed by the rebel groups. We don't want war crimes. We don't want people getting hurt. We are all on the same team. Let's find out who's actually committing the atrocities, or at least who's worse. Can we at least go here, right? The White Helmets are funded by the United States. The White Helmets are described by media sources such as Time as being ordinary Syrians who simply wanted to band together and help mitigate the damage caused by Assad's Syrian government forces. False.
This could not be further from the truth.
The Syrian White Helmets are an organization funded by the United States with the intention of using the group as part of America's wider objective for forcing regime change in Syria. The Civil Defense Force is funded in part by the United States Agency for International Development.
The USAID.
Included, and there's two links. I'm going to try to link everything that we can to all the articles.
The first award that was given was the sum of $111 million.
The second was for $57 million. The White Helmets were involved with depriving. Now get this, you guys. They tweeted this out, and I brought up their Twitter posts. Sorry if I don't have them up all at the same time. Okay, so in these two Twitter posts, the rebels admitted to shutting off the water supply to the civilians in Aleppo. So you had the Syrian government was fighting to take back Aleppo, and you had Gary Johnson famously flub what's going on in Aleppo. I don't think any of us had heard of Aleppo at that time, honestly. But now we have, and now
and it was really terrible, and we needed to be knowing what was going on.
So, offered by opposition to trade access to water source for Damascus with halting of military operations by the army. So, they're literally trying to negotiate with the Syrian army, saying, well, we'll get water to the people if you give us Damascus. And there's a second tweet here that says, Wadi Barada statement, we will let teams fix water spring if the Syrian army stops attack, siege lift, and monitors siege fire by international enforcers.
So if the rebels are just regular, everyday Syrians, why are they cutting off water access to regular, everyday Syrians and knowing that Assad will want the Syrian people to have water?
This letter is signed by the White Helmets. The people we are funding.
We're funding to cut off water to the Syrian people as a threat to Assad.
This document was signed by a representative of the White Helmets, recognizing that we cut off. In effect, when you see the dominoes, our government helped really create that war in Aleppo in a horrible way. This document indicates that the White Helmets are playing a troubling role in assisting rebel groups commit war crimes against civilians. This would hardly match the stereotype of being a purely
humanitarian group.
The white helmets have a troubling nexus to war crimes, and members often appear to actually be rebel combatants. All they do is put on a little uniform and a white hat. You guys, this is like bringing in undocumented immigrants. Okay,
Right.
There's no proof. There's no proof, right? So this was an embarrassing revelation. This particular incident, they film this stuff, you guys. They take pictures of it. The white helmets are standing to the side. This was a civilian. He's being executed, and you've got the white helmets pulling him away. Now, in this particular instance, the white helmet said, "Well, we didn't approve of this, but they're right there. They didn't stop." But that's just one tiny.
It makes me sick to my stomach. You guys, you know what? That wasn't Assad that just killed that innocent civilian.
Right. Right, exactly. So that was a video. Then what you see is many of these.
I'm not even sure that they saw that behind your head, but it's okay. It's not that important. It's really disgusting. It's vile that this person, down on the knees, gets shot, white helmets come in.
So these are some of the white helmets. You can see they're white helmets. These are people that we support. So this says, fighting for the sake of Allah and to free the Sunni Muslims. And Allah will reward every muhadi, whether he is muhayir or, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say them all, and it's sorry. So these are the white helmets here. Another little clip. Glad tidings have reached us in Jis Ashura on the hands of our Muhadeen brothers.
May Allah strengthen them and make them steadfast on their correct, sorry, I couldn't read it that fast, way, and soon, inshallah. The strongholds of the Assad regime in Latakia and Damascus will be liberated.
Okay, so those are those two videos I wanted to show you about the white helmets.
So essentially we are funding those people.
Exactly. So I'm trying to go back and forth. Who are the Assad mercenaries that are innocent?
They're killing innocent Saudi tourists.
So I watched this video, and I got to tell you, I look in a person's eyes when they talk. I don't know about you. But these are a couple of the people fighting, two women fighting, and they're fighting for the Syrian army. This is the opposite, right? My name is Hajja. I'm 37 and I live in Aleppo.
I'm 28 and I came from Damascus. I'm 27 and I live in Aleppo. I'm 31 and I came from Damascus. I have been serving in the army for 6 years because I want to help the Syrian army, Syrian president, and Assad, and to protect all people all over Syria. I used to live as a regular civilian person. I owned a small transport company. I quitted my job after I had been drafted into the army. The war, the All-Syrian War, began in 2011. Here I protect my country. This is my duty. I joined the army as a volunteer after the massacre. In the town of Kenasser, I saw the gunmen killing all the soldiers from engineer troops. I couldn't stop that. My uncle and a cousin were killed. We will continue fighting until we free Syria from all gunmen. I want all women to help the Syrian army because the gunmen kill everyone. Women, children. I actually saw children dying, lying on the ground. Women being cruelly tortured. People we had never seen before did all of that. I have a wife and 4 sons. When I speak to my son on the phone and he asks me, "Father, when will you come back?" I answer him, "Wait for me. I will come as soon as I finish my service." 10 days ago, my friends came under fire and died in Homs. Lord have mercy upon them. My uncle is a general of the Syrian army. He also died at the hand of a terrorist. Lord have mercy upon him. Before, people could freely drive from Damascus to Al-Hamsi without their ID being checked. The roads were safe. But now they can't drive even 3 kilometers. I want our country to become safe again. When we win, we will restore Syria, and it will become better than it was before. Either the country will become safe, or we will die. This is our path. Family taught us that our land is our honor, and we need to protect our land. God will save Syria. I want to address myself to all foreign terrorists. You will be dead here on the Syrian land. Syrian gunmen, our government had mercy on us, on you for many times. Lay down your arms. Come back home to your families. Become part of our nation again. Come back.
So this is one video, and the essence that I am getting, this is the story, the narrative that fits into my soul, because I feel for people. I always feel for people, and you should feel for people. But you know what? CNN, MSNBC, the globalists, they prey on our emotions. Just like there was a video, if you saw it, of the Saudi girl with the incubator babies. I'll show you a clip of that, hopefully. And how they got a Saudi girl who was actually a Saudi UN ambassador, ambassador's daughter, who was an actress, crying, and she made up a story. And her dad had her make up the story that they were taking incubators out of babies and putting them on the floor. Now, that's what Saudi Arabia and that government wanted to do, and we're still friends with those people, even though they lied completely, and they set her up. Actually, one of the people on the council knew that she had done that. So anyways, that was one. So I was out planting some plants, and I followed some links to this webpage called The Wall Will Fall. And this woman, Vanessa Beeley, brings the real Syrian story to life. And there is an interview from, I want to just kind of give you an overview. There is this a European, I think he's British. He did some work in Syria in around 2010, and he went to leave Syria when it got really bad, and there was some civil wars fighting. He recognized that what was happening is that there were a bunch of militants who sprung up, and they started as a homegrown kind of terrorist organizations because there was a great drought, and people were getting hungry, and they blamed the government. And they were obviously financed through Turkey and Qatar and neighboring countries. Well, this British, I believe he was British, I know he's European, man, he couldn't leave. A kid with an AK-47 tried to steal his car. He overpowered the kid, but he still couldn't get through the border. And I guess then some thugs in some trucks chased him down. And my point is that there was civil unrest. It was like we had here in Cincinnati several years ago, where thugs just kind of went around bashing windows. Right. So people just kind of went out of control. And the Syrian army decided to try to bring down these rebels. Well, the rebels were funded through Turkey, and later on through our government in 2013 was the big push, because they played on our emotions and created a false flag, got the whole UN involved, everybody involved, and it's very sad. So as I'm listening to the stories, it's an hour-long program, and if you listen to anything, listen to him, because you can just tell that nobody can make up these kind of stories. The kind of stories that he's telling us, and actually I believe ISIS and terrorism can, but he's a normal person. You can just hear it in his voice.
Why are we listening to all of the mainstream media? Those people have never been there. They've never met a Syrian before in their life. And instead, we're not listening to people that have been there and have
interviewed. Why aren't Syrian soldiers being interviewed? Why are they
because it doesn't fit the narrative.
Exactly. Why are they considered the liars? So he goes on to say, I'm going to play this clip where he says that
because they had no other way to go war globally is well known. How could you buy from a terrorist? If the whole world is fighting ISIS, how could you, when you're buying from a terrorist, what it means is supplying them.
What does that mean to you? I mean, being in Europe, Europe is part of NATO. We have the NATO alliance and all the NATO member states, and Turkey is a NATO member state. And here we have a NATO member state, which, in your opinion, if Turkey wasn't facilitating all of this and hosting all the fighters in Gaziantep and all this, how would the war be over 2 years ago? Do you think, if Turkey hadn't played this role as a NATO country? It's incredible.
I think if it wasn't the organization of Turkey and the support of Europe, and they would not have reached 1% what they reached, because everything they had is too advanced to be just a bunch of rebels. For example, I used a lot of Google Earth.
And then, there's a couple other things he goes on to talk about how if it was just a bunch of rebels, they had
far too
ammunition,
advanced weapons and access to all kinds of things.
They went into one town. There was like one MRI machine in the whole country, and they had like 3 MRI machines. They had advanced missiles, advanced rockets, ammunition dated 2016. He says that these rebels, he said that they went in, there was a naked baby, and it was strapped with explosives. It was a trap. It was a real live baby. There's a story of a child here I'm going to play for you, where he says that the rebels just mowed down his whole family, and he ran away from, it's just, so stick with me, you guys. I want you to listen to this guy's story. This is the other side of the story. You don't hear him on MSNBC. You don't hear him on CNN, but I'm going to show you who you do see.
That's RT.
Yeah, that is RT. I'm going to do RT now. All right. So this is the journalist, one of the journalists at the mainstream media. We already showed you the girl that they set up, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, dear Assad, right? It's all, we're being played, you guys, and I know this beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Syrian city of Aleppo is nearly complete, according to the Kremlin spokesman. This latest drone footage you can see now shows the sheer extent of the damage in the city. Last Friday, the process of helping civilians to safety began after the operation to liberate Aleppo from militants had come to an end. The rebels had controlled the eastern part of the city since 2012. Meanwhile, Caleb Maupin takes a look behind the familiar faces covering the Syria conflict in the mainstream media.
Where can we find reliable information about the Syrian conflict? Well, John Kirby of the U.S. State Department says we should tune in to mainstream American news channels.
I would encourage you to go flip on CNN today and look for yourself at the imagery that's coming out of Aleppo by a reputable news organization.
Yes, mainstream American media has painted quite a picture of Aleppo.
No place now to go. It's the last base.
This may be my last video.
This might be close to, if not the last community.
This is set up. This is what I'm trying to show you. I want to play this for you again. You can see it in their eyes that they are lying, that they are making it up. These 3 people. Now watch.
No place now to go. It's the last base.
This may be my last video.
This might be close to, if not the last communication. It is the last time that I talked to you.
Bombs are everywhere. People are running. They don't know where. Just running.
We are here living a genocide, literally.
People are executed. It's as simple as that. These final messages.
These are lies. This is mainstream lies. This is not Assad. I'm going to show you the Syrian people, when Aleppo was actually freed from militants, they had a big old party. The Syrian people did.
Weren't so final after all. Not only did those who put out...
Wait, listen.
It's as simple as that. These final messages weren't so final after all. Not only did those who put out these final messages not die, but they have continued to put out reports. Here's another hit from one of them, Balil Abdul Karim, with a man who definitely looks like a moderate Syrian rebel.
Fighters are now preparing to leave the city of Aleppo. Now, if you can get a little bit closer here, and you will see what this is. This is an explosive belt.
What do you call somebody who stands basically in front of a terrorist? Not only, in essence, lauding and encouraging the ostensible terrorist, but highlighting the various suicide equipment that they wear. Again, I keep talking about this line that is traversed And this isn't propaganda. This is basically recruitment.
Now, Mr. Karim seems to be very well trusted by the al-Nusra terrorists. They let him get rather up close and intimate for interviews. Now, we decided to go to the U.S. State Department and ask John Kirby how reliable and credible a source like that actually is. He didn't seem to have any real response.
One of the journalists who was quoted and featured across American mainstream media is Bilal Abdul Karim. Here he is being interviewed. And this individual, we also have some of his other journalism, and here he is with someone, this is what he, in his words, describes as an explosive vest. And this is an interview he did with a fighter in an explosive vest. He reports, "The fighters are now preparing to leave the city. This is an explosive belt. This is what many fighters are wearing because they don't feel they can trust the regime." Is this an unbiased, credible source? This person standing next to what looks like
a suicide bomber because I can't trust the Syrian army.
I'm not going to speak to every single news account that you can sit there and cite, sir. What I can tell you is, as I said, I think the broad swath of coverage about what's going on in Syria is worth people paying attention to. And people have to decide for themselves what they're going to find credible and what they're not going to find credible.
But you just told them to go to CNN and you call it credible.
Go to CNN to determine what the truth is and also make up your own mind, which I think goes without saying. I mean, why don't we just put a big sign up that says CNN, propaganda arm of the government. I mean, I think that was one of the most unwise, the unwisest of things to say, phrased that way.
American media and officials have been painting a portrait of Aleppo that's rather black and white. There's good guys and bad guys. It's almost like a Hollywood movie. But it turns out that some of the heroes they've been celebrating have a dark side that they're conveniently choosing to ignore.
That's quite stunning.
It's so more than quite stunning. I'm going to put this in my Google Docs here so I make sure that you guys get all these links. So
I think that kind of rounds off this particular set of coverage.
Okay, yeah, we got more to go.
We do have lots more to bring to you. So this is Leah Michelle signing off for Resistance Chicks, where it is not a conspiracy theory if it's the truth. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell for notifications. And find us on Facebook and Twitter. We love you. God loves you. God bless. And unlike that guy, we're telling you to make up your own mind. Keep searching. Go everywhere you can to find the truth, because it will be, you'll know, like Lee and I keep saying, inside you can tell. You can look at the eyes of the people that we started off this video with, and you can just tell where their heart is.
All right.
I was cold all alone, no place for home every day, so afraid, but you